The condition is really crazy condition.
And that shouldn't give away the whole secret to professional windsurfing.
Maciek giving Antoine elbow run for his body. Here we go. Woo! What a finish!
The guy is kind of talking bullshit.
The team has just got to work a little harder.
Welcome to the Windsurfing Podcast, back again for episode 8. And this week we have a freestyle legend who has shaped the sport as it is today. He's invented more moves than I can count on probably both hands and has won many a world title. But he doesn't compete in freestyle anymore. No, he is doing the Wave Tour and he is going for the elusive world title. And it is elusive. He hasn't won it yet. He's still on that quest. He's got anger issues. Yes, he really says it as it is. He talks about old brand managers and does some very good impersonations. We talk about the future of the PWA. Obviously, he's one of the biggest characters in the sport. You know who it is, don't you? It is, of course, Ricardo Campello.
Ricky, how's it going, bro?
Good, and you?
Good. I guess you're in Maui, still kind of stuck in paradise. I don't think. Wait, you want to start again?
No, she just came to pick something up and give me a kiss.
Ciao.
Oh. Okay, we're not gonna cut that out. So yeah, you guys went to Maui probably like December, January, and have been there ever since.
No, April, March.
March.
Since March. I was here in November, but I went back home and then.
Yeah, it's probably the most you've been there and the most you've sailed in a long time, no?
Yeah, we sailed a lot actually. We even had a north swell, a proper swell in summer, which is not common here. Was 1 or 2 really good days for summer at Hokipa. Normally this time of the year, we always get south swell, but like 2 weeks ago, we got a really good north swell, which is not very common here. It's actually the first time I've been in summer in Maui. So normally I always leave in beginning of May, and if we're almost in August already, and well, not almost, but we're July already, I'm still here. But the wind, it's non-stop. It's windy every single day.
Yeah, some good jumping days. I think the Superman day went pretty viral. You think that's doable, landable?
Yeah, I think it could work, but it's not gonna be easy. There's a big risk to land on your knees, or maybe there's gonna be like a handle on the board where you can grab. You don't have to stretch your hand, but like grab the handle straight. So you jump and you grab the handle and then you put it back on. But I mean, I don't know. It's maybe it work, maybe it won't, or maybe there's another option to do it hooked in, but then that's like kamikaze style.
Yeah, yeah, or some really thick pads that if you land with your knees or with your,
Yeah, if you land either way, if you land on your knees, gonna hurt yourself, I think.
Yeah. Some road biking, I saw that kind of surprised me. I mean, you told me once, like, when I asked you why you don't train, you said you tried. You said, like, I tried, I got a personal trainer, but I was just sore and I didn't feel any better. So now I was quite surprised to see you road biking.
It's just that I think for me, maybe for most of the guys I know, it's so boring to go to a gym and, like it's not waste time. I wouldn't say waste time, but for me it's boring. It's so I decided to try something different. I mean, it's not the same training, but it's a really good cardio, and it's good for your endurance and to burn calories, because sometimes you don't sail here, and Maui has such beautiful scenes and such beautiful roads, and I get a good opportunity to buy a used bike from a shop here, so I decided to give it a go, and it's pretty sick. You know, I try to go every day if I can. Sometimes I'm not really in the mood. If I sail a lot, I just don't go. But you know, it's something new for me, and it's I'm having fun, to be honest, and I've done some pretty cool rides. And the other day I took it myself and went almost all the way to Hana. I'm in Haiku in Maui, and it's like the whole Turana is so beautiful. Like especially now that there's no cars because of the COVID, so it's like it's perfect because it's a little bit ups and downs, and it's nice. It's the landscaping is so nice. You some parts of the road you're right next to the ocean, but higher of course. And yeah, I'm happy. I try to go every day, and it helps me a little bit on the endurance. You know, and you get less tired when you're in the water, so you can hold longer. I think. Yeah, it's good fun.
You think that's the missing
A lot
piece?
of hate actually.
You think that's
Huh?
the missing piece for your Wave World title? That's gonna finally do it for you?
No, I don't think. I don't get tired when I mean, obviously I get tired, but it's not because I can't hold long on the water that um I don't I didn't win or I'm far from I mean close to win. But it's another step, you know. It helps, and definitely it's working. And I think the missing piece, to be honest, I don't really know what it is. Maybe I have to be a little bit more consistent on the water on my moves. But yeah, I think I had some unlucky times as well, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, you came close like quite a few years last year, and I don't know how many times you've been second. I didn't really get to count and prepare that well, but how does it feel like when you're just, you know, right there and it comes down to, you know, one heat and then you know, you miss it just by maybe one or two heats?
It feels pretty bad, to be honest. It feels pretty devastating. Um, Not last year, the year before, was it? Yeah, 2018. I was like 0.0 something points behind Victor, I think. And in the last heat against Toma, the wind was super light, and you know Toma is a really light rider, and he's super like good on those onshore conditions somehow. I mean, he's good everywhere, but every time it's really shit and light conditions, he's really amazing, especially if he goes against a bit heavier guy. Because you know I was on my 5'6" and 95 no 100 yeah 95 to 100 liter board, and you know I did what I could, and I was just one missing jump. I mean, I think my jump was just a really bad forward, like pretty much flat water, because I couldn't get a proper wave to ramp to jump. But you know that's how it is. It's part of the competition. At the end, Victor got the world title, and you know he deserved it. I guess he did the best, but it sucks to be close so many times, and at the last second, boom, you don't get it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna keep working on it. I'm gonna keep fighting, and let's see if next year I can finally make it. I'm happy with my equipment and with the team that I'm working on now. Nash is being great with me in all the points, like testing with the material, supporting everywhere they can, and this is a big part, I think, for
Yeah, is that like your
for
biggest goal right now? To just win one?
yeah, for sure. Hopefully more than one, but you know, I don't have much time. I think. I mean, I still feel much better on the water every day than before, but let's see how long the body can handle.
Yeah. So in 2020, if the calendar actually plays out the way it does, that you guys might actually have an Aloha Classic, do you think it's cool that this is kind of a world championship, or you would rather not have a title in 2020 and just
I don't think it's fair to have any world title with one event or two, to be honest. But I mean, I don't think Maui is gonna happen anyway. But if it does, my recommendation, I was actually thinking about this yesterday. If it does happen, maybe we should start doing as maybe the first event of 2021. You know, count it as the first event of 2021, or just do like a invite. No, how do you call, like a, not expression session, just like a tournament or whatever it's called. Not county as
no,
a
the
world title.
2021 thing makes sense. That's actually really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if we do have Hawaii, like this year, or try to postpone it for next year as well. I mean, keep the budget and make it the first event of next year, but in actually February or something.
Yeah.
So it's after the year, you know.
Yeah. So no world title
But
in
I mean,
20.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah. So no world title in 2020. Do you sometimes think, what if I don't make it? What if I don't get it? Is it like a question mark in your head, or
Get what? Oh, in my life?
Yeah.
No, not really. I mean, I would be. I know I'm gonna get it one day, but yeah, it's something that obviously I want to have for my personal goal, not only for my sponsor, but mostly for me. But if I don't get it, I didn't get it. I still feel good on the water, and I think I've done pretty good in the sport, and I've been up there for many years, and you know, I didn't achieve my biggest goal, but I achieved many goals, and I think that I innovate the sport in a way, with stuff that I do, that I try to push every day. And like many people say, I don't really get scared when I go on the water. And in a way, I think this is perfect for sport. So
don't you get scared? I think everybody gets scared a little bit.
I just try not to think about it. You know, if it's a huge jaw swell, okay, maybe, yeah, obviously. But jumping and riding normal to big size wave is not scared that, you know, I'm not gonna hit the lip because I'm gonna think I'm gonna die or something. Though sometimes, yeah, some lips I'm scared to hit sometimes, because if you miss time, you can really, mostly because of your foot, yeah, because sometimes you hit the lip and the wave hit your sail, and then you get stuck on your strap, and that's what scares me the most lately, to be honest, that my feet get stuck on the straps and I get tangled on the water. Like when I broke my foot a few years ago, that's what happened.
Yeah.
So, but that's something I don't try to think.
Anyway, from 2020, let's take it all the way back. I think anybody that follows you kind of knows that whole story, that you wanted to be a racing driver, then Senna died, then you moved to Venezuela, Josh Stone came to Eliake, kind of got you hooked up with Neil Pride JP, and took you to Maui. And how old were you at that time, more or less? Like 13, 14?
12, 13, I think, because
12,
I moved
13.
to Venezuela when I was 12, and this was a year or two after, between 12 and 14.
Yeah. And then to become professional, you quit school, right?
Yeah, I was at school. Actually, I was a bad student. But I I had enough grade to pass, so it was enough. And I had a wild card to go to Austria. There was no win there. I was sponsored by, not really sponsored. I got some sales from the Venezuela distributor and JP from Venezuela. Yeah, he was my godfather, but he didn't do much he did a lot actually, but not in the way that, he gave me a few sales. And then I think I asked Josh if could, he could help me get a wild card for Austria, and I got in touch with Rich, and Rich, I sent him my videos and pictures. I don't remember what it was, and I got a wild card, and I met everyone there, but there was no win at that event. But I was so light that I could plane with any gust, so I was able to, do some tricks right there in front of the judges and in front of the Martin Brandner was also obviously there. And then he saw me. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're really good. You got talent." And like, "Yeah, man, I'm trying to do my best." And he asked me if I wanted to come to Maui for the photo shoot. I'm like, "For sure." So, but I asked permission in school for 10 days at home, and I went straight from Austria to Hawaii with my first paid contract, and I came back home 3 months later. So when I came home, I obviously had to choose between studying or windsurfing. And back then, obviously, I chose windsurfing.
Yeah, I mean, a couple guys tried to finish like with, male school or things like that.
We didn't have, back then, I think this wasn't really common. Now you can online school and
No, but like
that.
mail, like, like stamps and envelopes and stuff. But
yeah.
I don't think you could be bothered with that, really. I mean,
no.
straight
I mean,
away.
I was making money. I mean, I was already paying pretty much independent, because they were already paying me for everything. So obviously it would be nice to finish school, but
Yeah. How was the money back then? Even for a kid starting up? I mean, we all know it was better than now, but if you put it in perspective, what you were making as a kid before winning a world title till to now.
I think when I started windsurfing, basically like when my generation started to grow up, like to do well, it was the end of the golden era, I think, in terms of contracts. But I mean, I don't want to blame or like point to someone specific, but I think obviously the market for windsurfing nowadays is not the same as it used to be when we started, because there's kiting, there's stand up, and there's many other things and pretty much everything's expensive now, and the market's obviously much smaller. But I would have liked that the big guys, the big guns, like, I don't want to say any names, but would told us, look, this is how much a guy like you should be earning, from brand, because we didn't have any reference of anything. There was no reference. There was no. If you're starting and you have that much talent, you just, whatever they offer you, you're gonna be happy with, right? Because there's no reference. You don't know what's good or what's bad from someone that has zero budget, has to buy gear, from someone that you get paid. Obviously, everyone's gonna accept anything. So
and if you're 15, 16, what cost do you have? You just travel, you go out, eat, whatever.
But still, we are
games.
professionals. We are traveling. We are, if this was, the case. Like, let's say one of the big guys would tell him, look, man, you need to earn this, at least this, then our salaries nowadays would probably be much more stable and much higher than what it is, you know, I think. And I understand in another way that obviously the big guns are gonna get all the money, gonna want to get the money for them, because then, okay, if I give this kid this, I won't have that for the big guns, for the older guys. I mean, like, you know what I mean? But I know that contracts from other guys back then had nothing to do with what we were earning, which was still a lot of money for us compared to now. And is a reality that I think people, like, we had to accept, you know. So yeah, now if you get, like, if you're not, I think if you're not in the top or you're not recognized, I don't even know if you can make a living out of it.
There's always somebody like young and promising and whatever that will do it for less than you, no matter, like,
Yeah, I know. Not
you know,
not necessarily young.
yeah.
Not necessarily young, but even I know some of the current guys that makes no money. You know, they don't make, and they accept it because they would say, you know, I'd rather have this than nothing. But at the end, this guy messes up for everybody else. You know, because then the brands, oh, why am I gonna pay you this amount of money if this guy maybe is not you, but this guy can, you know, can get what I need, you know, and instead of giving this number like this, he has this, and sometimes even zero money but gear. And I'm like, come on, how do you pay your food? How you pay your ticket? How you pay your rental cars? How you pay your travels? You know, how you pay your own expenses? Because what's the point of doing it just for the fun of it? I heard a story I don't want to say names, but from a good friend of us that is.
This is the safe zone, Ricky. You can say names.
What's that?
This is the safe zone. You can say whatever you want.
No, I don't want to say any names. But the guy, he basically cut his salary almost in half, and the guy from the company said, hey man, but come on, look at the right size. You're living in Hawaii, you know, you're living the dream, you're a professional windsurfer. I'm like, what? You're traveling? What is this, man? What's this kind of mind? You know, how just because we're professional and you spend our time traveling, that's even more reason to pay the right amount, because there's so much money that we spend on all these travels, and people don't think that, they don't realize how much just in gear, excess baggage a year, how much we spend on excess baggage is fortune. Sometimes could be over $5,000-$10,000 a year just in excess baggage. You know?
Yeah, for sure. And you're a wave sailor. Imagine slalom, man.
Well, I'm a wave sailor, but sometimes I carry more stuff or the same stuff as you, because I take, okay, your stuff is bigger, your sails are bigger, but for example, to Pozo, sometimes I take 10, 12 boards and 12, 15 sails and 10 masts at least, you know, 5, 6 booms. That's a lot of gear. Plus extensions, wetsuits, fins, they're super heavy. And clothing, the camera gear as well now, the drone, you know, the girlfriend's bag. So it's not easy. It's not as easy as people think. It's a cool lifestyle, yeah. I prefer to much better than being in an office or to have you know, I love what I do, but it's not as easy as everyone thinks.
No, for
sure. To be honest, this year, in a way, I'm kind of stoked that we don't have to travel as much and we don't have competition. So I've always wanted to take a year off, you know, and finally get it. And I think all the boys are thinking the same.
Yeah. How was it? How was it back in the day? Like you go from, like you said, like maybe getting a few sales for free and trying to get to one event to basically, becoming one of the stars of this new discipline, getting, money thrown at you, attention, gear, coverage, etc. I mean, it happened very fast, probably in a year or two. And how does that affect a person, like like you say, you're 15 and you're probably independent. I mean, there's probably good and bad sides to it.
Well, yeah, I had, it was obviously a dream to have all these sales for myself. I actually had like, my budget was like 30 sales or something, a lot of gear, a lot. And I could ask what I wanted on the board. I can make, like coming from zero, then suddenly you meet the designer, you meet the shaper, you meet the boss, you meet the stars that you always look forward to. And you're actually part of the development. I mean, it's not that I was super part of on the development, because back then, now I'm a bit better, but back then I just didn't really understand much of the sales and boards. I just told him I want this, this, and this, and he would make it. And if Werner, this case we're talking about Werner, and I would say, I don't like this board, so I would just give it back or sell it and get a new one. And then he used to ask me, why don't you like this board? And I couldn't tell him why, So every
which
time,
15-year-old knows this kind of stuff?
Yeah,
you need
well,
experience, you need time,
my 20s too.
Yeah.
Even now sometimes, now I understand a little more, but I'm not that technical with sales much more, but with boards I'm not as technical as other guys.
We'll get to Patrick, don't worry.
No. Anyway. Yeah, and
does it spoil you, like when you're a kid, you can afford, I mean, as a kid you don't think of buying a house, you think of buying a PlayStation, or you think of, you can enter the shop.
Computers was my thing. My things were computers. I was never really into PlayStation and video games. But
you can have the newest MacBook, you can have whatever camera you want. You enter I know you love electronic stores. You walk into the electronic stores and you can drop, I don't know, a few €1,000 just like this. And
not anymore, bro.
I know, bro, but you know what I mean? Like, how is that for a kid? Like, does people tell you like, man, you should, like chill out on your spendings or whatever, or you just, there's a bunch of you guys the same age, like you, Swift, I don't know, Anthony.
Swift is a high roller. Swift don't care, whatever it comes out new, he buys it, the most expensive one, and he doesn't care. There's a new,
and the best is when he tries to explain you that he actually saves money that way. This is the best.
And he doesn't.
He's like, I'm gonna sell, I'm gonna sell that one and the new one. And I actually, like, once he told me he's actually making money that way, I'm like, Robbie,
sure. In Venezuela, maybe you would make a bit money. In Brazil, if you buy it here, but in here, I don't think he would make money. Yeah, he's funny. He's a character. So
I tried to invite him on. He didn't even reply. I'm gonna shame him here publicly.
He's being very busy, actually.
Yeah.
He just wrote me because they're going to go jump at the lighthouse in La Perouse.
Yeah.
They're leaving 5 minutes, I guess. I'm staying.
Yeah, a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah.
So anyway, so then you go into that freestyle tour mode, and it kind of comes easy to you. You start winning, you start inventing moves, you start, having a new move every event, and kind of being like one step always ahead of the rest. Was it easy for you? If you remember,
natural. It was natural. Back then when I was doing freestyle, it was all natural. I mean, I didn't really care. I didn't really think of of losing back then. I think I was like, in that time, I was a winning machine. In obviously not in a cocky way, but I was doing pretty good. I was going in the water already in my mind, knowing that I would do well. That I would do pretty much good. And this is something I think it helps. And I wish I had 30% of that confidence now.
Yeah, but I think it's
I-
totally different because back then you were just actually better. And now you're competing with guys which are similar level, and you need to actually perform on you're more competing against yourself now than,
Yeah.
back then you could sail your 80% and still win, right?
Yeah. That those times were really good. But I think I'm even nowadays on the wave heats, I'm smarter and more mature on the water too, more calm, and I'm trying to get a little bit of this good confidence from the back in the days. But let's see if next year I can do it.
Yeah. So then you win kind of 3 in a row, happens quite fast, and then this kid from your town comes named Goito.
Yeah.
And when he beat you in like 2006, I think.
But before was chill.
Yeah, but it was a battle. It was not like.
Yeah. Before was chill.
Like in 2006, you're still thinking like when he beat you, you still think like, okay, I'm gonna come back strong next year, or you're already thinking about the waves and you're already like.
I wanted to win, but I didn't have the same motivation because I wanted to focus on waves. And Martin Brandner, at that time, I kept telling him I want to do waves, and he kept telling me, no, you should stick to freestyle. And I said, okay, but I'm still gonna do freestyle, but I want to focus on the waves. And he's like, no. And once he said no, I wanted it more. So I try to focus more on the waves and maybe put aside a bit of freestyle. Not on the side, but I got bored, I guess, of freestyle in a way, I don't know. There was one point that I wasn't really having as much fun as I would on the wave. So maybe it's not that I stopped because the new kids were coming. Obviously not, but I just wanted to focus more on the waves.
Yeah. Let's stop at Martin Brandner here.
Who won 2006?
Goito.
Was it Goito?
Yeah.
And 2007 was Brown.
Yeah.
So there was a big rivalry that time between Goito, me, and Brown and Cheo. So it was good time. Good time.
Yeah.
Funny time.
Let's stop at Martin Brandner for a moment, because the infamous JP boss for many, many years, before I think he was out of 2. Because I think that there is not many guys that are more opposite in character than you and Martin.
Yeah.
If anybody that met Martin, he's almost like army, like
Yeah.
Austrian army,
Yeah. Not say the word.
Yeah. So then it's quite impressive if you think that for like 15 years, you managed to not to explode.
Well, we did explode a few times, but then the times we exploded, he proved me that he was right. And sometimes I proved him that I was right.
Like that time when you didn't want to use a thruster at a photo shoot. Let's get this story out of the way.
Yeah. I never had thruster boards. I never really liked thrusters. And I had this custom board that had 5 boxes, but obviously the idea that I made with 5 boxes, it was exactly that, because I didn't want to use the production board on the photo shoot because they're simply completely different to where I was riding. So I ordered it with 5 boxes. So when I would go on the photo shoot, I could use it 3 boxes. But I started using it as a 3 boxes, and he told me that I should use it for the photo shoot, but it wasn't working for me. I didn't like the thruster. So I sailed for like 1 or 2 hours, and it was a pretty good day at Hokipa. We've been shooting for, I think, 3 hours in a row. And then, but I couldn't really do what I wanted to do. You know, I couldn't really sail proper with that thruster because I simply wasn't used to thrusters. So I came out of the water tired, thinking that we're done. And then he comes, "Hey, Ricardo, we are taking a 1 hour break, and then we're gonna go heli shoot again." I'm like, "What? Martin, we've been sailing for, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours already. We're dead." Yeah, but you know, just 1 hour more for the photo shoot, for the helicopter. And okay, can I at least use my quad board? No, stick to the same. And I'm like, "Martin, come on, man. I really don't like this. I'm not sailing how I want to sail with this board. Let me, no. And then we had to argue or whatever. He started shouting at me. I shouted back at him because my personality is really, you know, I get angry as well, and I explode, which is something that I have to fix. But, you know, I don't know what happened. I don't know if I didn't care about him, or he told me, "Go sail 15 more minutes with the thruster and then you can change." And then as soon as I came out of, I changed it, I put the quads on it, and I sailed much better. And then he came out of the waters. "Yes, you were right. You sail much better with that. Thank you. Very good show." And then "You're ripping." So then I say, "You see, Martin, I'm not doing this to piss you off. I'm just doing it because I want to, you know, we're doing a photo shoot. You're spending all this money, and I want to have the best shots you can get, you know? And I simply don't like thrusters." Yeah, but you know, you have to, the people can't see that the board is a quad." Whatever, Mark. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, now that I grow up and I understand more, and I know more his points. I know I actually think that he was doing his job great. He was a little bit extreme in most of the times, but he always got what he wanted to get. And for whatever brand, this is something that, you know, you want someone like that to work on your brand. And in a way, if you did good, he was always doing good to you. There was very little times, obviously, that you don't agree with things that he used to want. But what he promised, what he tells you he would do it. So my hat's off for him, and I actually miss him. You know, I missed working with him, and I thought working with him was a nightmare, was bad. But to be honest, after I worked with others, he was an angel.
Yeah, as I said, we'll get to Patrick.
Yeah, well, I don't want to get names, but you know, I don't really care.
Anyway, so give us one more story where he was actually right, that you had to kind of apologize. And
well, I never really apologize for anything.
Yeah.
I don't remember this kind of story, but there was one time we were doing a photo shoot at Baby Beach. Was it Baby Beach? Yeah. And then Josh, they would come with these brand new boards out of the pack, the next year's model. And the sand at Baby Beach where we used to rig the sails is like mud, dust, really red dust. So I opened this brand new board, white pads, white foot straps, and I put my foot on the foot strap to fix my strap. And he freaked out. He's like, "Ricardo, you stupid or what? Look, you're putting all the pads dirty." And I'm like, do it in the water. I'm like, fuck, my Martin, I need to do it. And I just Photoshop, and Josh and I was just like, wow, laughing so hard. He freaked out on me because I was putting my dirty feet on the strap to fix it. That was pretty funny. There was also one time where we were doing this Super X. This was actually the funniest. We were doing this Super X shoot, and he had this crazy idea that Super X, and it was actually good, I think, for the...
With the armor, no?
And then, yeah, he wanted to do the photo shoot, and he related Super X with Super X on motocross, or motorcycle. So he bought us this plastic thing that they use on the motocross. So, you know, and a helmet and the motocross pants. And then he makes us come to Sprecklesville. It was Swift, Greg Holloway, which was Grubby, and Taboulet. And obviously I come late. And I come late. And I look at the guys, I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, what? I had a laugh attack. Like, but it was a real laugh attack. It wasn't that I was laughing on purpose. You know, when you can't stop laughing? For like 10, 15 minutes, I couldn't stop laughing. And then he freaked out at me. He threw me out of the photo shoot. Get out of here. Don't come back. We do it tomorrow. He just did a photo shoot with the other three, and but that was just a laugh attack, really. It wasn't that I was laughing on purpose. It was just so funny to look at these three guys with this fucking helmet and this armor thing from motocross with the pants. That was so funny.
Yeah, Jesus. So I guess the opinion around the industry from these kind of situations spread a little bit that you know, you're a little maybe difficult in those situations.
I was a kid, not difficult. I was a kid that I wanted to do things my way, you know, but I never disrespected anyone. I was doing my job, you know, and in South America, we have a totally different culture and different thinking. So, you know, everything for us is more relaxed, you know, like he used to tell us that to be there at 7 in the morning for the photo shoot, to do a tee shot, and we would get there 10, 15, 10, 20, you know. And Kaoli was the same when he was on the team. Kaoli was actually worse than me because Kaoli even didn't even have a phone, you know. And he would get pissed off with Kaoli because Kaoli got there 30 minutes later. But he's completely strict, and we are much more relaxed. I know he's the one paying us, so we have to follow his rules. But yeah, come on, man. It's not you're going to die for 10, 15 minutes, you know?
Yeah. But then that
they
kind
don't
of...
get there later, even.
Yeah. But then that opinion kind of stuck, no? You felt when you finally parted with Neil Pride JP, you felt that, you know, maybe people were, or other brand managers and stuff were looking at you that way, you know, even though you had great results and...
No, I didn't get out of the Neil Pride JP team because of that.
No, I'm not saying it's because of that, but once you did, then, you know, looking for other sponsors, you know, there's this kind of...
Nah, not really. I don't think it was this. I think there was just problem with the budget because they knew I had good salary from JP Neil Pride back then. And the people, this was the era where, like we were talking before, it was the era that why would I pay him this if I can get this? If I can pay this from the other rider, but they don't see the downside that this rider is not this rider. Yeah. You're not gonna get the same results with this rider than with this rider. But they didn't care. They preferred to risk it. I was told that, you know, that with my salary they paid 3 other riders, 3 new riders instead of 1. So they thought they were gonna get amazing results with that, and they didn't. I think they actually regret it. I was hearing that they were regretting. They wanted to be next year, the year after again, because their strategy didn't work.
Yeah. I'm asking you this because I had Craig Gertenbach on the podcast, and we were talking, and I kind of asked him about his team riders because they're really kind of, super nice guys, and let's say he called them low ego, and I kind of asked him straight, why don't you like the kind of more rock stars, and more guys with a little bit more character, a little bit more maybe following, a little bit more, that have a little bit more of an image, And what he said is that these kind of guys, which I think would include you and me, need more attention, and that they cannot be as much of team players. What do you say to that?
I don't understand.
So he said that generally guys with more character, more following, more more of an image,
Yeah, but an attention in which way? More
that
attention.
They need the brand's attention much more, and because of that, it's much more centered around the person than the team. That's what he believes.
I don't agree. I was with New Pride and JP for 15 years, and I wasn't the only one. There was other stars on the team as well, and the team. Talking about Antoine, Jason, Josh Stone, Robbie, many other guys. Micah, when he was doing racing. So, I mean, I don't agree with that. Obviously,
I agree with you there, 100%. But it's obviously the guy is a brand manager of one of the, if not the biggest board brand in our business, and this is what he believes. So.
Yeah, but if you think, okay, Victor is pretty quiet, but Goyito is not like that. Goyito is a, high ego, person. He wants attention as well, and I think everyone needs attention and deserves attention, because that's why you're in a team. But it's obviously better for a rider that if you're the only one on the team, obviously you're gonna get more attention than if you have 5 other superstars on the team.
Yeah, but like you say, on New Pride JP, there was a bunch of stars, and there was not a problem.
Sure, and they knew how to manage it. They knew how to give the same attention to everyone else. Sometimes a little bit more on JP, for example, also obviously because of Jason, because Jason was JP.
Yeah.
But look at my position now. I'm the only guy doing the PWA, but look who's on top of me. There's Robbie. Look.
Yeah.
So the biggest star in windsurfing ever, I think. Yeah, and you see, they can distribute the attention on a nice way.
Yeah. Do you feel like the sport is going that way, though? That there's less and less guys with attitude, less and less guys that are not scared to say stuff, less and less. Everybody tries to be nice. Everybody, tries to be kind of hardworking and boring. And
it's not a matter of boring, but I think one of the beauties of our sport is that in the end, we are all a family, We, like I always say, we are rivals on the water, but we are friends when we're out. When I go against Brow and I beat Brow, normally I try to stay at the beach and support him. Sometimes, obviously, I get out of the beach because I get upset. Obviously, his position is the other way. When he loses, he just get out. I don't give a damn. But at the end, we're always, supporting each other and cheering for each other if you win or not.
But that's not really what I'm asking, because that's for sure that we in the end is like, yeah, maybe there is like one uncle that you're not really the best with in the family, but in the end you would help these guys always, no matter what. They call you middle of the night, you pick up and you help them. That's for sure in our in our sport,
Well,
in our society. But what I'm asking is more for the general public, because when I was growing up, there was Josh Stone, Paula Cow, Robert, Robbie Nash, and then the young guys like you, Diony, Mavison, whatever, all these guys that had a lot of character, a lot of like, they were all different, but, people were as interested in them on the water and off the water, where now it seems that there is this kind of perfect windsurfer and that they try to kind of put you in that box. And
I am what I am, and I am the way I am because that's how it was made. I try to. I know I have many defects and many things that I have to improve and fix, and I'm working on it. And I'm a very competitive person, and this is why I think I'm competing and actually doing what I'm doing, and get angry when I lose, get angry when I think I win and I lose with judges. And yeah, it is what it is, everybody has their, like, Victor is a much more mellow person compared to me, but don't you think he when he loses, he doesn't get upset? For sure he does. Maybe he just doesn't express it as others do, but for sure he has his ego and his character. And I remember one time that he lost the heat because apparently he did a one hand back loop in Denmark, and he lost his heat because he landed it and a few meters later he catapulted, so the judges counted his jump as a crash. And then he came to complain to Duncan, and Rich was there, and he he told he was the first time I ever heard that he said, what, he told someone to to fuck off, and you never expect that from Victor. But for sure, man, he lost his world title. I mean, he's fighting for a world title. Any stupid mistake is gonna make him count towards the end of the year. And it's like me in Silt last year. He decided to run the heat with no wind. I had my biggest gear, my biggest board. I couldn't really go upwind, and I lost my heat. I was 9th. If I would have been 6th, I would be world champion as well in that event, or something like that. If and that's what I tell Duncan, like, Duncan, and of course I get upset. Of course I get pissed off because I'm fighting for a world title there, and it's not fair that they run a world title with no world title conditions, with no wind. We're windsurfing, we need wind, and sometimes he just runs the heats with unsuitable conditions.
Yeah.
And I do get upset, and I always go there, and of course I get pissed off, and sometimes I say bad things to him. But at the end with Duncan, every time I say bad things, which I'm getting better now, I'm not saying as much. I just try to focus and go. Every time I say something bad to him, I go and I say sorry, because I know he's also in a tricky position with all the riders complaining and the organizers and all that.
Yeah, talking about Duncan Coombs, of course, the PWA head judge. But I think it's a
love
fine
you, Duncan.
line.
If you hear this, love you.
I think it's also a really fine line between, getting your point across and looking like you're complaining, and maybe, looking, what I mean? Like, you want to you want the things to change, but you don't want to be seen as a guy that's complaining, you know? And I think like you have this biggest social media following probably out of the guys that are on tour. And, you know, sometimes you would say stuff about the conditions or about, you know, difficulties with sponsors or the time you lost the PWA email for the entries. So like sometimes I think from the people of the outside of the sport, they might not know what the reality is and you know, don't really, they probably like it because there's something going on, but maybe the people inside see it as kind of unnecessary trouble. So how do you navigate that? Because I think, you know, you had some times where maybe you post stuff and, you know, and then either later you regret or somebody calls you and says like, what the fuck, you know, or whatever.
To be honest, I respect what people think, but I don't care. So I know sometimes people think that, how can I say this? Sometimes people, but they don't really see what's really going on. They just see it on their point of view or, you know, whatever. So sometimes you even have to explain it. And sometimes I explain the situation because, yeah, but lately I have been having pretty good comments everywhere, and I try not to post negative stuff or, you know, but sometimes I just want people to really see the reality, not only what their eyes see, you know.
Do you think windsurfing as a sport is kind of too closed, too kind of clean? Like there's so many things going on behind the scenes that, you know, me or you, we know about, and they never kind of come out, you know. It's all kind of under the rug, under the carpet, you know. And if it was football or whatever, or basketball or something, you would know about all these things, you know.
But in any sport is like this. Do you think we know everything? The media shows everything that's happening on football or car racing.
No, but much more. There is reporters, like in Formula One. There's reporters in the paddock looking into the garage of Ferrari. You know, like with the engines now, for example, that they last year they found they were illegal, and now they're like 1 second slower. The reporters, they kind of know things, you know, while in windsurfing, like I think, you know, sometimes we would show something, but most people have no idea. And I don't know, like imagine you were Messi or Ronaldo, you know, there would be much more stories around you, and maybe you wouldn't have to explain those things, you know. Or
I don't know, I have to be in the situation to see. But yeah, there's always things missing. And I think, again, even in the sport, in any sport, Formula One as well, there are things that nobody knows that happens.
Yeah, but you seen Drive to Survive, for example, yeah, that Netflix series.
No.
You didn't see? You should watch it. No. You should for sure watch it. And they show really a lot, really, really a lot. Like in windsurfing, if you show that much, it's like they're gonna think you're crazy, you know. Like
maybe you should do it.
Yeah, I mean there was like this Nico Preen documentary from Asia, and then like Tati like Thibaut Malta broke his leg, and then there was guys saying like yeah, you know, it happens, you know, it's tough racing, tough luck, you know. This is not what was going on at the beach, you know. At the beach there was like, you know, just F-bombs everywhere, and, you know, everybody had an opinion, and everybody arguing and fighting and shouting, and you know what I mean? So on this Formula One show, you'd see that, you know, and you have a windsurfing documentary, and it's really like...
Yeah, it's like the Senna documentary. Have you seen the Senna documentary?
That was amazing, yeah. So much emotions, you know?
Yeah, but, you know, the how is it called? The PWA, the FIA.
FIA, yeah. FIA, yeah.
always wanted to F him up, Senna. You know?
That's what it was shown on the documentary, that they
Yeah.
were with Prost.
Yeah, for sure. But it's true.
Yeah.
You know? But anyway.
Yeah. Thomas was, I just interviewed him and he said he likes it actually that it's that way because he doesn't get too much attention. And when he goes somewhere, nobody recognizes him and he can do whatever the fuck he wants. And so maybe there's two sides to this, you know?
Well, I mean, nobody recognizes him in, for sure. If the guy follow windsurfing, they will see him. They know who is Thomas.
Yeah.
For sure. And I don't see what's bad that they recognize him. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's my thinking too, you know?
it's not that he's Ronaldo or anything, you know, that he can't go on the street and people, or not him, I'm not talking about him, us windsurfers in general. It's not that we are going to go, even Robbie Nash. It's not that he's going to go on the street. Maybe in Germany, in Silt, yeah, okay. But, you know, he goes anywhere and it's not that he's going to get surrounded by hundreds of people and not going to let him walk, you know, taking pictures. But I think I like it when I go around and people recognize me because they get motivated to sail, and plus I get good tips from the spots, from the locals, so it's good.
Yeah.
You know, that's good.
No, I think it's good when the stars of the sport, they are kind of big, you know, like it's nice, no, when people talk to you and from a perspective that you're their idol, you know, kids walk up to you and, you know, and just the fact that you stop by and talk to them is a big deal, you know, and I think that's the way it should be, you know.
Yeah, me
I
too.
wouldn't
They love
like
it.
to, you know, sometimes, you know how it is, sometimes people don't know you and they treat you like
Shit.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. I like that too.
Yeah.
Sometimes some guys get too much, but it's how it is.
Yeah, I just think like this era is totally different, you know. Like I grew up watching, like, I don't know, you remember the video of
You're a superstar, huh? You're a superstar. You can go around and you can't go around in Poland. You need a bodyguard, huh? Yeah, you're a celeb.
I can
Yeah,
go wherever
that's why
I
you
want.
claim first. That's why you claim on your Insta.
No, I get like, if I get recognized, it's in the worst possible moment. Like, I don't know, changing in my wetsuit, or
Woo!
if I party like once every
I don't
6
think anybody
months.
wants to see you change your mate.
Yeah, that's what I mean. No, it's not really the best.
Ah.
Yeah.
You should cut those dreadlocks, bro. Must be stinky as hell.
No, they're good, man. Get washed. Yeah. Okay, let's go back to the subject because we're getting off topic. The PWA, obviously, that's where you've been competing for, I don't know, like 20 years now. And every time we have this AGM, this annual general meeting of the PWA, which every year I tell myself I will not go because it's the same kind of
Just
stuff.
too funny to miss it.
But then I feel like responsible and want to go there to make the change and, you know, be positive about it and whatever. But you're one of the most vocal guys always there. You always come with ideas. You always come with, you know, why this is not happening and what?
And paper planes.
Yeah, this is when you get pissed. So this is usually, let's tell people like the Ricardo Campello AGM. You come, you sit down, you talk, like, usually there's the president, Jimmy, he starts to talk. And then
Always get late.
And then you're already sitting there and I see you like you want to say something, but you want to let him finish, but you want to really say something. and then probably 3/4 through his speech, you're like already like, yeah. And then like you start like, I think we should really have this kind of media, or I think we should have, and then you go from that to, but why don't we have this? And then you start like, but this should be like this. And then you start throwing paper planes and
Then I leave.
yeah, and then you
They
leave.
never listen to me. They never do anything.
So what is the,
And my points are actually right.
yeah, so what are your main points? What would you like to see?
I don't even remember.
What would you like to see the PWA change? Or windsurfing, because actually the PWA is windsurfing, right? Is
I want first to have better wave venues, like better conditions, of course, not only Pozo and Tenerife and Maui when it happens. I think our sport is much more than that. I think all these events, maybe not still, needs conditions like Pozo and Tenerife, for example. But I would like to have a proper Cabo Verde, Brazil, Maui to be consistent, Chile, Indonesia, places like this as well. Port and starboard conditions. I would also like to see more new. I wanted the PWA to push more towards having young kids. Like, okay, we have one event I think for kids, which is Victoria organizing, which is a great thing, but we need more of that. I think we need new young talent in our sport, because there is a lot, but if you compare it to other sports, it's little. And like if you go to Kanaha here, man, it's only old people windsurfing. Old, like 70 years old, which is also good for the sport. But we need young blood, because that's the future of any sport. And if there's no young, the sport is going to die soon, because people are not going to keep on going. These 70 years old guys are not going to be able to sail soon, because, they're going to getting old. So I would like the PWA to push more towards the young kids as well. And us riders also promote them and add new people to the sport.
Yeah, but how would you like to accomplish all these things? Do you think that this idea Jimmy had he was here on the show, and he was like, okay, we need more money, and the only way we can generate money is if the prize money is less, and we can put that money into, going to other places or media, more media?
Man, the prize money is nothing already. Nothing. Like when someone asks me, someone outside windsurfing asks me how much prize money I get if I win an event, I say 6,000. But and they're like, what? 6,000 euros? I'm like, yeah. If you win. I'm like, come on, this can't be real. Yeah, 6,000 euros. So sometimes you don't even pay for you don't even pay for the expenses for that trip sometimes. Because let's say in Pozo, okay, you go almost 2 months before, you spend house, food, car, everything, filmmaker, whatever. At the end of the day, you don't save anything. Tickets, excess baggage. So imagine if we get less,
Yeah, but then maybe you can get Cabo Verde, Brazil, etc., because the events will
they have been saying this for years. Where is it? We lowered it. It was 10,000 before, 12,000 before. We lowered it for half. And where is it? Where are these events? Still waiting. So they should cut their fees a little bit, maybe. And they should try to find a tour sponsor, which they keep telling every year, yeah, we're going to try to find something. Come on, 20 years already they're trying to find a tour sponsor. And since I've been with the PWA, we had 1 year in Pozo where Nesti was going to sponsor us. Oh, yeah, let's put the stickers on the sale because this might be a trial for next year. Where's the sponsor? It's not. We need to find a proper tour sponsor. They have to find a good agent or draw or make a good presentation, or at least get a tour sponsor for the wave tour, a tour sponsor for the racing tour, a tour sponsor for the freestyle tour. That's easier. It's one association, but at least, you're not going to get for the whole tour, but each company is going to get for every discipline.
So are you becoming the marketing manager for the PWA after you retire?
No. Why? They don't listen to what I say, so why would I waste my time?
No, because it seems like you have an idea how to do it.
No, I don't have an idea how to do it. This is my idea on top of my mind now, but I don't have an idea of. But I think I'm telling you by the experience since I've been on the PWA. We've been trying to find a tour sponsor for over 20 years, and since I've been on the tour, I didn't see any opportunities on this. So there must be something wrong that they're doing wrong.
Yeah, and last year you kind of went without a sales sponsor and pretty much without a board sponsor as well. And you managed to find all these little, probably they were not little knowing you, but they were smaller, let's say, sponsors.
Yeah.
Here and there. So it seems like you do have a little bit of experience with that,
Yeah, but if I would do this, I would do it probably to help the sport, but I don't, I honestly think that that we need a change on the PWA somehow.
Yeah, maybe now with
add someone to it, or I don't know, change or add. It's been the same for years. The same thing for the past 20 years since I've been on the tour. I remember when I started, I used to see big O'Neill sticker on the sales from all the riders because it was a tour sponsor.
Yeah.
Now I don't see anything. And we keep saying every year on the AGM, yeah, next year we're trying to, but somebody's trying to get a tour sponsor for us, blah, 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 but it's the same. It's the same. We don't have anything, any tour sponsor.
Okay. Enough bitching, I guess.
I'm not bitching. I'm just saying the reality.
No, sure, but I think what they want to do is like this year, because it's such a hard year with no events. They're thinking to make some more radical changes, whether it be what we talked about, investing that prize money into media or whatever. But I think they have the same feeling as you do, that going the same every year will not get us anywhere, and I think also somehow the economy for action sports and things like this is not not the best. If you look at kiting or even surfing have their trouble, Harley kind of firing 90% of the team, and Quicksilver a few years ago, they fired also 90% of their team and things like this, so maybe we do need to find a different way of selling our sport. But
Yeah.
What is it? I don't think nobody knows.
What?
You know, with how to sell it. But anyway,
Oh.
back to you. You're
Yeah.
gonna be 35 this year, soon. And let's say you win a title in 2020 or 21 or whatever. What's next? What would be next on your bucket list? Is there a Ricardo Campello bucket list?
Yeah, I have a family. Do some other business that I'm working on that don't want to talk about it yet. Yeah, and keep riding as much as I can. Hopefully, not only win one world title, but others.
Yeah, but nothing specific. No 1 year dedicated to the triple loop or big
maybe 1 year
waves.
dedicated to travel the world and just surf and windsurf sick waves. You know, and triple loop, I'm not gonna put it on my mind. I'm gonna dedicate this triple loop to go triple loop. No, if it one day it happens, the conditions are suitable, I can maybe go for it. If not, no.
It's for sure doable. Just seems like it's very, very painful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, Philip was in the ambulance after he tried last time. He was like dizzy, like full concussion.
Yeah, it's painful, but let's see.
Okay.
Let's see, mate.
I want to see you go for it at least one more time.
I want to do push loop double forwards.
That sounds pretty good too. Yeah. Okay. We're going to end with a couple quick hitters. What are your pet peeves?
What?
Pet peeves.
What's that?
It's something that annoys you almost like on a physiological level. Like, I don't know. Patrick.
No, not anymore. He did before. Patrick and the other guy too.
Yeah, we'll have Andrea Cookie on the show later, so I'll ask him.
Don't get like controversy shit going on here.
No, I'm not.
This subject's fast, and
but I think it's not an issue that you guys see the world differently and you couldn't, you know, like.
No, it's just an issue that he doesn't have a word when what he say.
Yeah, okay, but you know what I mean. It's people. Not everybody has to live in perfect harmony. You know, like you can have arguments and fight people, and it's not the end of the world. I think it's normal, and I think, you know, pretending.
No, you should actually contact Martin Brandner. It would be cool to have Martin Brandner.
Would be really cool, because now I'm not sure what he's doing. You know, if he's retired or he's working something else.
He is, I think.
But he's not working in windsurfing anymore, so I think he can really give a nice perspective, you know?
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, so your pet peeves. Basically, what pisses you off?
People that has no word and lies to get what they want.
How many times a day do you pee your wetsuit?
Actually, yesterday I got a brand new wetsuit and I tried it and I'm like, shit, should I pee? And I actually did.
You do it on the beach? Times. On the beach sometimes before getting in the water?
For sure. For sure. Before the heating silt. What, I'm going to put my wetsuit down to go pee? No way.
Yeah.
And I even get proud. I always show whoever's next to me, look.
Even your girlfriend?
Mm-hmm.
She knows probably. Yeah.
She's the first one.
Yeah. What is your guilty pleasure?
Eating ice cream.
Your top 5 windsurfers of all time?
Antoine Albo, Marcilio Cauli, and I have to say Victor.
That's 4 or 5.
Antoine, Cauli, Marcilio,
Victor, that's 4.
Victor,
We have
and I
space
like
in
in jumping, especially jumping, I have to say Philip, of course.
there. Most underrated windsurfer of all time?
That's actually a good question. Oh, I forgot to mention Levi as well, top 6. Most underrated windsurfer. That's a good question, Maciek, but I have to think. Maybe Moritz?
For wave riding?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's Mao. One spot you'd have to sail every day for the rest of your life. But you
I
have
have
to go.
Well, I guess Hookkeeper.
Even with a crowd? I mean, now it's not really crowded, but...
Yeah, well, Los Roques. Actually, Los Roques, yeah.
There's no conditions every day. And you'd have to go sail.
But every day, you don't sail every day anyway.
I know, but that's a hypothetical question. Like the question, what would you take to a
If
island?
it's
with no people?
hypothetical, then let's say that there's waves every day in Los Roques.
Okay.
Well, let's say Hookkeeper then.
Worst excess baggage bill of all time?
5,200 euros with Cauli, going from Gran Canaria to Maui. But we managed to pay $100, 100 euros, because we did it like we did some tricks. So with the receipt. So at the end we paid 110 euros or something out of 5,200.
Not bad.
Yeah, but it was a scam.
Yeah. Still.
Which
Not bad.
we back then was the receipt that we write on the paper and the other one goes on the paper below, it's
Yeah.
not printed. So we kind of did something there, and it's a whole story, but yeah, it worked because we had to wait also for the shift to change. It was at 3:00 flight or something. So we waited for the shift to change because the manager was a dighead when we first checked in, and then we stayed outside, and they wanted to charge us like $400 per board. So they opened the board bags and they counted all the boards we had, and at the end we just faked it and pretended that we paid, because the ticket counter is here and the check-in is here. So we pretended that we came from there, and something strange. We had to pay something. I don't remember what it was exactly, but it was 5,200 euros they wanted to charge.
Yeah. I recently saw a story of Peter Fallwater that he, they gave you guys, I think, prize money in cash back in the day. So he had to pay at the airport. Like he negotiated down to, let's say, 100 euros.
Yeah.
But then when he had to pay, like he took out his prize money thing and there was a 500 euro bill.
Yeah.
And gave it to the lady, and she was like, I don't have any change. It's like, sorry.
That's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got.
That's what Mark posted this somewhere, no?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. What's the furthest you ever traveled specifically to see a girl?
Ooh, boy.
This is made for you, brah.
Actually, where Diana lives, I had to take a ferry, then I have to 4-hour ferry, then drive 4 hours. You know, it's pretty long, but not long flying, but to take a ferry and then a drive, it's pretty long. Took a boat as well sometimes, you know, to go my boat and then to a city and then drive, and yeah, lots. My back in the days time when I was single, when I was dating girls, I was travel a lot. From Maui to Miami as well.
One date and come back. Movie night.
No, not one date. Of course not. I'm not that dumb. No, if I travel that long, it's because I like that person.
Who has the worst music on tour?
Yours.
Mine.
Yours. Yeah.
Yeah, you like your Latino.
Actually, the worst music, not worst, but the most repeated was the Tenerife soundtrack they put on the event.
I think they had one CD. That year I did the
CD
event,
for the
they
whole
had one
10
CD.
days. Yeah.
There was
Then just
U2.
grab the mic.
Hey, man, it was 6 years ago, I think. And I still remember they had U2, the one that starts 11, 12, something, 14.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Vertigo. Yeah. That one and like, yeah.
Hello.
That one, exactly.
Yeah, but still like this. But
It's
not the
still
same
that.
CD.
Wow.
But still one CD.
You should buy them an iPod and an auxiliary cable.
Let's see.
Who's your worst competitor?
In which way?
Like a guy that you see on the ladder and you're like, oh, fuck.
It all depends on the condition, my friend. I hate to get Brau and Victor, and obviously Philip in Pozo and Tenerife. But I think Brau and Victor are the ones that in any place it would be tricky. You know, any conditions.
What's the one movie everyone should watch?
I always have these movie things in my mind that I want to tell people, and when I need to tell them, I forget. I don't know, man. Right now, I don't know.
Okay. Who would you want to? You kind of mentioned that, but maybe try one more. Who would you want to hear on the podcast?
Martin Brandner would be a good one, like I said before, because I think he's a very important icon to the sport. Obviously, Robbie Nash.
We've sent an email.
You sent?
Could you please tell your boss to check his email?
Yeah, I can ask him. If I see him today, I have to go there now. But if I see him, he's there. I'll tell him.
Yeah.
Also, I'll go for sure.
Antoine, I think he's building his house, and he said like he has no time. But I get him sooner or later.
Swift too.
Sooner or later, will happen. Swift, you think Swift is gonna open up?
What?
You know, he's...
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Shy guy.
You should have done... It would be cool if you could do it. The three guys, you know?
You mean me and 3? Or...
Yeah, gang bang. That's it. Actually, you should ask Kai as well, Kai Lenny.
That would be cool.
So see if he has time.
Yeah, and if he wants to talk.
We went sailing yesterday we went from Hokipa, from Sugar Cove where he lives down to Camp 1, and he did like 100 forwards. There was no waves. He was just doing forwards.
Oh man, when you don't windsurf for a while, it feels amazing. When I was on lockdown for 2 weeks in an apartment stuck because I came back after the country was closed, and then you go windsurfing, it's cool to do a forward and like little chop,
Yeah, yeah, but he did windsurf a lot. I think he wants to. I think he actually wants to windsurf to do doubles. So he's practicing the forwards because he was trying to do like stall.
Yeah. Anyway, Ricky, enjoy Maui. The rest of it. Hope
Thank
you
you,
get
brother.
out of there sometime. So I heard there's no flights at the moment.
No, there is flights to the mainland. You can go to Europe, but
yeah, Venezuela. Not really.
yeah, I know. But it's not that we are stuck here.
Yeah.
But I prefer to be stuck here than anywhere else, I think. Actually, Pozos, look, if we had the event, it would be sick conditions.
Yeah.
Because the dates were, I think, the 4th until now, right? Until next week.
Sound
Till
like this, yeah.
Sunday. And it was howling for 2 or 3 days, I think. They were setting on
waves.
3034s.
Big waves too. Okay, mate.
All right.
I'll
See
let
you,
you
mate.
go. Thanks a lot.
Aloha.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Take care over there.
So there we go. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed that very honest interview from Ricardo Campello. I think you get to see the real Ricardo Campello. He's always great to interview because you just get this super honest approach, and you never really know what he's going to say. It's always a good one. If you like the podcast and you're enjoying them, please chip in some beer money, support the channel. Like I said, you can put as little as 20 quid, and if you think it's worth more than that a year, you can stick in some more. You'll get a chance to win prizes and obviously support the channel. So thanks a lot for your support. As usual, put in the comments below who you would like to see on future podcasts. I think they're going down really well with the hardcore. And obviously, if you don't want to watch the video, it's available audio only on Spotify and iTunes. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss another episode. Give us a thumbs up like if you liked it. And I'll stick a few X podcast or the podcast playlist up there for the guys who are watching YouTube. You can see some that you've missed.